Friends, welcome again. You are on the Siberian Investor channel. Today we will talk about EVA cross-chain protocol, which is step-by-step approaching its launch in the mainnet. From the very beginning of the development process, I have been closely following all updates of this project, and of course I have been sharing my experience with you. If you are here on my channel for the first time, you can also find various interesting videos about EVA. For example, several videos about how did we go through alpha testing, or interview with the founder of DGU Venture Fund, the first EVA seed investor. In that interview, we have only mentioned some ideas of this cross-chain solution. Well, according to the founders of the project, technically EVA will be ready for launch at the end of October and will be launched in proof of authority mode. This means that the project will be supported by a very limited number of nodes that most likely will be completely under the development's control. Nevertheless, the project will already be working with the main blockchain networks and real tokens, not the test ones as it was in alpha testing. The running in the proof of authority mode is going to be only for a while, during the project code is under technical audit, and during app functionality is under testing on a low assets amounts. After that, the project will be switched to the proof of stake mode. A few words about technical audits. The audit will be conducted by at least 2 high-level companies providing such services. This means that the project code for 6 weeks throughout will be examined by professional programmers, hackers, and crackers for bugs and vulnerabilities and other weak points. According to preliminary estimates, the price of the audits will be about $500,000. So I can say that EVA is very careful about security issues. Based on my experience, I also can say that not every one project in the mainnet generally audited. I don't recommend you to use such projects, or at least not to store your assets in their smart contracts, and use them only for one-time operations only. Today I would like to recall and remind you what stages EVA project went through on the way to the launch in the mainnet, what difficulties the team and the project community encountered, and what solutions have been taken to overcome them. The origins of the EVA project went from DGU Foundation. One of the early DGU projects is an asset management fund, or in other words, a fund for managing user assets. This fund accepts users' cryptocurrencies and put them in farming pools, for which he takes a certain commission. Since profitable farming offers regularly appear in different blockchains, the main and most difficult issue for the company was to solve problems of transferring funds between networks with minimal commissions and costs. So, to summarize, transferring funds between blockchains either requires several transactions with high fee, either unreliable. You probably all heard of sadly known history of the Luna blockchain, and in addition to this, Binance Bridge was hacked this month. Hundreds of $1 million were stolen, and thus everything is related to the vulnerability of nowadays cross-chain solutions. Either such a transferring has not been implemented by anyone so far, due to a high degree of blockchain's incompatibility. In 2020, the head of DGU Blockchain Laboratory and the future CEO of EVA, Boris Power, suggest a solution that would solve the problem of blockchain interoperability. Having studied the existing at that moment cross-chain projects, it was decided to run a startup that would be superior to its competitors. Received the seed investment from a DGU venture fund in the amount of $1 million, Boris Power began to hire a team of developers and start to implement the project. By the fall of 2021, EVA developers have already become winners of Chainlink and Death Global hackathons, and also released a demo version of the decentralized cross-chain exchange. Time for interactions with the community and testing of the first product has come. The EVA team announced alpha testing, which took place in semi-gaming educational form. Participants were offered to learn how to use crypto wallets, how to exchange test coins, how to provide test liquidity, and how to get points for all of those activities. Later, test participants exchanged the points for the EVA NFTs that were issued with EVA tokens placed on them. Thanks for testing, EVA has received a huge inflow of community, and by the end of 2021, the social networks of the project had more than 300,000 people. In the spring of 2022, the team entered into partnership with impressive venture capital funds and other players of the cryptocurrency world, such as XDAO, Unreal Capital, Big Brain Holdings, and many others. Also, EVA became the winner of the Metis Hackathon and the Build It by Polygon Hackathon in India. Received grants from the large blockchains such as Harmony One, Algorand, Coinex, Boba Network. The launch of the project was planned on the Harmony One network because it satisfied all of EVA needs, such as high speed, scalability, and low commissions. It seemed that EVA launch in the mainnet was very close, but the market dictated its own terms. The fall of the cryptocurrency market provoked a delay of the project launch, and soon everyone realized that the crypto winter had begun. To launch a project in such circumstances meant to bury him in advance. Many investors and users leave the market on a fall. To keep the token price and attract new investment rounds would be simply impossible in such conditions. The bad thing was also that fact that Harmony One didn't provide that expert and advisory support that the EVA team was expected. It was a difficult time for the project. Panic reigned in the market, and the project was at the final stage by the beginning of the bear market. Then the team decided to focus on the refactoring of functionality and the search for new partnerships. In order not to lose the community, a series of partnership airdrops has been launched. Then in June 2022 came the news that, in my opinion, has radically changed EVA development vector. The news were that the Horizon bridge in the Harmony One network has been hacked and the hacker has been stolen $100 of millions. I think after this news, the EVA CEO decided to change his mind of which one blockchain launch the project on. After a short research, in August EVA entered a new strategic partnership with the Aurora blockchain. In my opinion, this is one of the best options for EVA project that could actually be. Aurora is an Ethereum virtual machine built on the NEAR protocol. To be more precise, at a very early time, the Aurora team was generally part of the NEAR team and was responsible for creating a cross-chain bridge called Rainbow Bridge between NEAR and Ethereum blockchains. Over time, the project has grown so much that it was decided to bring the team into a separate product that became known as Aurora. However, the NEAR and Aurora are still working in close relationship with each other. If someone is not familiar with NEAR, I would say it's one of the top blockchains originally from Silicon Valley. The founders of the project are originally from the CIS, and their names are Alex Kidanov and Ilya Polosukhin. And the leading venture fund of the NEAR is totally known Andreessen Horowitz. Cooperation with Aurora has already been fruitful with EVA. First, EVA has received grants from NEAR and Aurora itself in amount of $40,000 and $50,000. Second, Aurora released and transferred to users all 52,000 NFTs EVA that contain EVA tokens in the amount of 1% of the total emissions of all tokens EVA. For example, my NFT contains 1,247 EVA tokens, which I will be able to withdraw, sell, or stake after tokens will be generated in the mainnet. All users actually will be able to stake tokens either on NFT or separately of it. Third, the NFT claim was completely free for the users, because Aurora basically offers 50 free transactions monthly on Aurora blockchain, in order users get acquainted with the blockchain ecosystem. For example, EVA NFTs is currently traded on two marketplaces in Aurora network, on Tofu NFT and on Endemic. Trading volume on one only Tofu NFT is already more than 80 Ethereum. In case you want to buy NFT, you will need to pay only the cost of this NFT, but the cost of the transaction will be prepaid for you by Aurora. To get 50 free transactions, it is necessary to create an account in the Aurora network using an email. Link to registration in Aurora I attached in the description to this video. And finally, fourth, thanks to Aurora, EVA was able to attend the NEARCon 2022 event in Portugal. This is a flagship event of the NEAR ecosystem, where Boris Power managed to meet in person and discuss common development issues with many top projects of the NEAR ecosystem and CEO of Aurora, Alex Shevchenko. To demonstrate the functionality of the EVA project, the team has created a demonstration stand on which anyone can personally make a cross-chain transfer of tokens. Let's try to make a cross-chain exchange right now. To do this, we need to get some test tokens to pay for gas fee. To get them, follow the links that you can see on the screen and which I left in the description of the video. I've got them in advance. After that, we will go to the demodex.eva.fi and get 100 DAI on the Binance Smart Chain network. Then we try to exchange some of them to USDC token in the Polygon network. As you can see, I was able to perform such an exchange in a few clicks only. Alpha testing participants is already familiar with such a functionality. However, since that time the DEX has been improved, acquired its own Explorer where you can observe a detailed transactions history, and also got its own stablecoin EUSD, which for security purposes will be secured only non-algorithmic stablecoins. Token X means that in its place there can be absolutely any token of any blockchain. The world's top companies and venture funds are already showing interest to the AVA project. However, negotiations do not lead to the big contracts because AVA is still not a launch project yet and cannot demonstrate its functionality on real assets. This is another one reason why the project is being launched right now and in proof of authority mode. After launch in the mainnet, the community will encounter another one exciting opportunity with rewards. I think that already this winter, the project will launch an Oracle network testing, where all participants will be asked to deploy a test node on their infrastructure and try themselves as validators. Regarding rewards, only one has been announced so far, that the best validators will be given the opportunity to deploy their node in the mainnet and get a delegation in the amount of up to 1 million AVA. To have a node in the mainnet means to be one of those who keep the whole network working. This also means that node runners receive their part of the fee for all transactions on the network, as well as rewards for staking on their node. I will definitely accept participation in this testnet and I will try to get a delegation from the project. And of course, as it was with alpha testing, I will share with you detailed video instructions. Also, I would like to invite everyone to my Telegram channel, where I publish the latest DGU and AVA news, and where we will discuss and resolve issues related to upcoming testnet. That's all I have to say for now. All useful links you will find in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next videos.